Okay, so no 4-hour intro to this. A lot of you are going to be really happy. Don't worry, the exit will be epic as always. I thought some of y'all might want to get a glimpse into what ADHD with benefits is. And this is kind of morphed into ADHD and all neurodivergence with benefits. With benefits. It's a place to shoot the shit. It's a place to be yourself and not be judged. Most of these, if not all of them, are not recorded. It's just us getting together as friends. And the benefits is us. It's everyone that joins. It's everyone that has the guts to show up. So there's going to be no intro to this, except for the intro that I'm currently doing, but it won't be nearly as long. May you always have support. May you always feel loved. May you always feel like you have the freedom to be yourself. That is why we are here. You are not fucking alone. So without further ado, here is ADHD and neurodivergence with benefits.
Hey! So, Leo, how was your week?
What a busy one. I feel like that's every week, though. Like, I think that's my response anytime someone, oh, how was your week? Well, busy. Doing shit. I don't know. Like,
My week was shitty. Dave, how was your week?
My week was really good. Yeah.
Good.
Hmm.
Up?
There was a week. I've just been. I mean, I spent my week trying to figure out what to do next week because I'm traveling. So I'm
Oh shit, that's right.
I'm in Hungary. I fly out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to be there.
planning.
I fly out. Well, yeah. I fly out to. I was buying the tickets, right? I fly out to Hungary on Monday, and I just bought my ticket to get a train to Austria after that. So that's what I mean. Because this is where you get, annoyed again because the flight to Hungary is £11.
That's like
Ticket train from Hungary to Austria is £10.67.
So, is this where you're training the Americans?
I am. I'm training Americans
That's
in
awesome.
Hungary.
That's
I
really
was
cool.
going to go. I was going to go slightly east after because there is a train there. However, I'm with people that I don't want to take care of, so I decided we go to Austria instead. So we're all going to go to Austria afterwards. Like we're all going over there, and I'm just going to. They're going off to Netherlands afterwards, and then I don't know. I might stay in Austria. I might come back here. I might go back to the Middle East. I don't know. I'll see what tickets are around.
Who cares? Yeah. Just do
Maybe
it.
go to the USA.
It does not cost anything. Like it's whenever people go, oh, this travel, and I'm like, I don't understand. What like when people in America and say, okay, it's a bit more expensive, but it's still more than how much I could get it for. But if you're in Europe, Asia, like anywhere like that, Africa, it's not fucking expensive unless you're being a bougie fuck. It is not expensive, and I can fit everything. But I fit for 7 months of traveling. I fitted everything into here. That was it. This bag,
Oh yeah.
that's
Oh no.
it. And that was all my podcast equipment.
I totally understand that.
But he was only able to do it while playing the Tetris theme song.
Right. While playing chess at the same time.
I do not fit
session.
everything in something like that unless I'm
That was
going
the most
for-
annoying thing with chess. I was talking to someone about this earlier. So I got on. I don't know if anyone plays chess online, the chess.com. But from when I started, I got first in every league. So I got promoted every week until I got to the top league, which is Legend, and I got 8th. I was like, you fuckers! Like, it's like every week I've been first, and then I get to the top, and it's like 8th. Motherfucker!
Yeah.
So annoying.
Remind me to never play chess against you.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
reason
it's
I
got a
have
board
chess
in the
set, I
background.
like
Look
it.
at that. Yeah.
Do you know how many times I thought of just like I want to fucking knock those over so bad? Just
Well, right, because they're all
I would
aligned.
stab you with
So
the
nice.
chess pieces afterwards. But
worth it.
going
Fucking
to
worth it.
Hungary,
Sometimes you just
actually,
gotta knock shit over.
One of the fun things about going to Hungary is last time I was there, I saw a chessboard I really want. So this time I'm going to buy it, which is a 3-way chess. So if 3 people play at once, which is got to be a mindfuck.
So you're having a threesome with the chessboard.
Yes,
That's
Exactly.
got it.
it's a
Okay.
That joke kind of wrote itself, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was.
Can we get a YouTube channel where you invite people to play, but in just very weirdly phrased ways?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah.
to get the
Have you
reaction.
ever
I would
gone
like to show you
one
my
of those
collection of
parks that
porn.
have-
This is
Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
Have you ever gone to like one of those parks that they just have like a chess, like a bunch of chess tables?
Only America has that.
No.
How's
I've never
that?
even seen one
I-
in
You might have your
America.
cheap travel,
I
but no chest
Do
in
you
the
want
park.
to know which two
I saw it in a
countries are the
movie
worst I've played so
once.
far? Brazilian and American. Worst
Well-
players I've come across.
Well, yeah.
Which is really funny.
Well,
no,
they're
it
trying.
should-
They're trying to
Platform of
skateboard at
global
the same
trading.
time. Like it's the
We're
same.
more checkers people around here. Okay?
Thank you,
That's very
Terry.
true.
God damn it! Thank you,
Very,
Terry.
very true. I couldn't agree more. Terry.
We do connect four. Is that what that
I would call
thing
it
is?
drafts, but yes.
Terry, how was your week? That was amazing, by the way.
Oh, fuck yeah, that was the subject.
My
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, your week is perfect. Like
Listen,
perfect.
this has been such a fucking long time coming. So I moved into my new place. Slept in it for the first time last night. It's mine, all mine, my name on the lease. I'm the only occupant. No parents, no partners, no roommates, no friends, no nothing. Just my rules, my style, my organization, my vibe. That's a good fucking vibe.
Yeah. And how hard did you have to work to get to that point?
Like, no, okay, so when it comes to like, oh, work hard, like, it wasn't like, oh, I had to work hard to like save up money to do this or to like, it wasn't like that type of work hard that, like, when you're thinking about like buying a place or renting a place or moving or whatever, that you put in your head, like, okay, work hard. So just make sure you cut expenses and you like save and you get extra hours and you know, get this lined up and that lined up and be a responsible adult and like whatever. No, my work hard was working hard on me. My work hard was working hard on like not fucking giving up and not like not giving up, I guess, is basically it.
No, that's
and just like being honest with basically every single person about how things were making me feel, how I was confused and lost and scared and just broken down in different ways because of different things that all just fucking hit and compounded at once. And I'm finally at 31 living for me and not for anybody else. And that is, I don't even know. Like, okay, so have you guys all seen the movie Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh yes.
Okay, so there's this like phenomena that I feel sometimes, like in maybe high stress situations where like you're on autopilot, but you're not. And you kind of feel like your friends or your family are Weekend at Bernieing you. Like, you know, like walking your body around. You're like, I literally don't even know how I like went and did these things that I was just doing. But I did them somehow. Like, I feel like somebody was carrying my vessel around. And I almost have that same type of feeling right now. And I realize that it's different because I'm the one carrying me. And I've always been carrying other people, or like this year, I've been so broken down that I have needed to be carried by others while I was just fucking, I don't even know. And I'm like, wait, no, is this like I have my own back? Is this, and it's not talking about independence or anything. It's talking about just like not even self-love or fucking anything crazy like that. Just like, I'm actually like there for myself. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but
It
like,
makes
Makes a lot of sense.
1000%.
and I think it's the first time I've
1000%
ever
sense.
like, no wonder people love me. I'm fucking awesome to have in your life. Like, shit.
Yes,
Truth.
yes. Fuck,
Well,
thank you. And I'm going to Dave right now because Dave has been chomping at the bit to respond to what you just said. So,
Okay,
Dave,
sorry.
please.
But the one thing I was gonna say was that, like, sometimes the reason that we do bloody we're the ones holding everybody else up is so that when it comes time to finally realize that the person we need to hold up is us, is actually we've got the skills for it. We just need that I'll steal from up that light to go on, you know, once that light's on. But it's like all that time I found for myself when it came time for me to hold me, that all I needed to do was all the shit that I did for other people. And like I'd learned the skills of it by being a people pleaser. So it actually ended up serving me well in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just getting over that
And I
mind
decided to
block of
please
like,
myself.
it needs to be external. It needs to be for somebody else. But like, yeah, I mean, if anybody could take care of anyone excellently, it's ourselves after serving everybody else our entire lives with every piece of our being.
It's just getting past that. I mean, Dave brought up, so I'm going to use my own analogies. The whole turning on your own light, it is moving past that candle bit, which is what we all do at some point, which is you don't turn a light on, you just get a candle. But the problem is that the candle, one trip, one fall, the candle goes out and you're fucked again. So it's just finally getting to the point where you're just going to go, no, my light, my fucking light is the one that goes on.
Exactly.
I'm not picking up a candle. I'm not running down there. My light goes on first. Then I deal with everything else. And it's just, it's so built into so many people that you run to someone else when you hear a scream. And the problem is that so many times the scream comes from us and we just forget that it is. And that's the thing we need to get past.
100%. But remember, what we talked about is it's getting out ahead of it. We don't know we're getting out ahead of it when we're doing those things for other people, but we actually are. We are getting out ahead of that darkness by.
So if we don't get used to turning our light on, we still get used to the bad prompts. So that's the problem.
But we can do both. I think.
Yeah, and that's turning the light on first. That's the thing.
Right.
Exactly. You get into the wrong prompts. That's the thing. It's what you effectively end up doing is moving bit by bit through complete people pleaser, which is what a lot of us are taught to be by our parents, because do as you're fucking told, which is when we run to turn on their light. So then as we get older going, no, I'll take a candle. I need to take care of myself, but I need to help them. And then eventually we get to the point of going, no, my light, I deal with it. You turn on your fucking light as well. Like, because at some point you scream, but you can scream and turn the fucking light on. Like, that's the thing.
It's a different way of explaining it.
None of us can get to any point of helping or hoping for something better for ourselves until we're used to the idea of turning our own light on. Because you can't continually turn someone else's light on. Because in the end, what happens when you're not able to turn the light on anymore? They have to do it at some point. And it sounds harsh because so many people go, yeah, but I can't do it. It's like, no, at some point you have to. Somebody will still come running, but they need to know where to go, and that's when the light's on.
That's why I build my own highlight with videos before I make any others.
Fair?
Yeah, there you go.
So that's, I mean,
because once you realize what it does for you, that's when you were able to give to others in that way.
Exactly. So Up is right, I'm right, even though he won't admit it. And then Dave, and then Leo, go ahead.
You're right. You're just emphasizing different parts.
Dave's absolutely right. He used my analogy.
I have a great analogy too. At some point.
Okay, Terry, go ahead first, and then we'll go with Dave, and then we'll go with Leo.
Okay, I'll be quick. So, like on that same subject, like how people say like, oh, you got to put your air mask on first or whatever when you're flying, and like. I don't know, that just never hit for me. But I donate blood a lot. And like I have blood that I'm the universal donor. So like literally anybody could take my blood. And so I like to donate it a lot, especially because like newborn babies that are born that they don't have time to like blood type them and everything, that are in distress, like they need to get it. Any type of accidents where like it's not immediately known, they use my blood. So I'm very, very good at like going every 8 weeks to donate. And there are times when maybe I wasn't drinking enough water like the day before that I go, and like it's a little slow, like get it like my blood coming or something, and I'm always nervous. I'm like, please no, please make sure it works, because then if like one drop of blood hits the bag, you still have to wait the full 8 weeks, and even though you didn't have a donation. So I think like I have to take care of myself. I literally have to be active, moving around, not like crazy exercising or anything, but I have to have circulation, and I have to drink my water so that I can donate blood that is going to fucking save lives. And that to me was an analogy that felt, and probably because I donate blood more than I put an air mask on in a plane, I don't know. But like that to me was the thing like that. Like, no, I literally have to take care of myself so that I am strong enough, and so that what I give to people is healthy for them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
And your twist on the fill your own cup first to
Yeah.
be able to pour it out. Except it's fill up your blood so you can give it to people.
Water your blood so it runs.
Water your blood.
Dave,
Fill up your blood.
Thing
So
about
when vampires
blood
come for
donation.
you, there's lots of blood there.
Dave, what do you think? I mean, I feel like that's pretty accurate. Like all of it is accurate. Turning on your light first. It's just we're all different in how we turn on our own light. For me, I'm gonna chop firewood at 5'6", and I'm gonna blast that shit all over everywhere and say, "Hey, I'm great." But I watch my own highlight videos. I do, like all of the time. But now I create highlight videos for other people. So like that proves what Up and Terri are saying. What do you think about that whole?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've used the air mask one as well, like you put your oxygen on first version of it. But I work with an absolute ton of people pleasers, probably because I am a recovering people pleaser myself. And the way I say, the thing about people pleasers is we get into that role in the first place, not just because we're kind of told to, and we're told to behave and think for others or anything like that. But it's one of those things that if you can't look after yourself at first, being effective at looking after someone else feels good. It kind of makes you feel wanted. It makes you feel valuable. And then it's that same thing that where you go, okay, well, if helping one person feels this good, imagine what helping 10 people will feel like. And then what the problem is, it chips away at you, but it chips away at you by such a small percentage at a time that no one notices it. So it's like, because everyone just feels like, okay, the more I help people, the better I feel. And then one day most people wake up at like, wherever their cutoff is for whatever's left of them. And then they end up saying, oh, well, when's my turn? Or, when's someone going to come and help me? And the issue is that with relationships and boundaries is they get set organically over time. So if you are a people pleaser around people, no one else ever expects you to be the one that needs any help. And they often say to you, what, you've been helping, how if you ask for help, like, how can you possibly need help? You're the one who's always helping everybody else. And I'm like, that's like driving your car around all day and saying like, and because we've got 3 Americans, only 2 Brits in here, I'll say gas instead of petrol. But just
Can we at least say
know
gasoline so we can,
petroleum nitrate, liquid petroleum gas. I don't know. But
God,
it's got petrol and gas in the same word. Are you happy? But like that's like driving your car around all day, and then when it runs out of gas, going, "What do you mean you've run out of gas? You've been driving me around all day." It's like, of course we get like now. I think that all of us need to get to the point, like what Terri said then, right? I think Terri needs to get to the point where she hydrates for the sake of hydrating herself because she deserves it and she's worth it. Right. But often people need to get that interim step of like, okay, I'm doing this for others. And that's where how you get most people to actually begin to put themselves first. So if I say, look, if you're giving 100% of your, let's if I get quantity and quality in the right order today, it'll be amazing. If you give 100% of the quantity of your time to everybody else, the quality of that time will degrade over time. So you will be like, and you'll just keep on trying to push through, but you turn up as a shit version of you in work, shit parent, shit partner, shit friend, whatever it might be. But you're still turning up. If you take some of that time back for yourself, if you think everybody else's needs are more important than yours, we need to get past that eventually. All of our needs are equal, right? But if you think that everyone else's needs are more important than yours, then you need to get to a point, you need to start off with a point of saying, right, well, in order, what basically exactly what Terry said, and in order to be the best, like, friend, partner, blood donor, coach, podcast host, whatever it is, I need to go back to up again. I need to put my light on first. I need to put my oxygen mask on first. I need to hydrate first, you know? So, and by taking a little bit of the quantity of time back for you, because people think they can't even give themselves half an hour once a week, right? It's like, by taking some of that quantity of time back for you, you actually give that quality of time for everybody else. So instead of giving them 100% of nothing, you're giving them 80% of everything.
That's perfect.
I know, that's why I'd drop a mic, but it's on an arm and it's quite expensive.
It is that.
I hate when people drop mics.
It's that quality thing. That is the biggest thing. It always falls down, because it's the same way as I say when you're running to turn someone's light on, because if you end up there 10 minutes late because you've knocked yourself out on the dresser as you ran down the hallway.
Oh, you making me run?
Never come up.
Yeah, well, so and Dave, honestly, like, and I'll be dead serious on this, like, I'm at that middle point of between the two.
Yeah.
Is
I'm probably still there myself. We should
right,
like form some sort of support group.
You mean like this?
So I'm not call it ADHD with benefits.
I don't think I've ever really been a people pleaser, so I don't know how.
That's why I'm trying to get better. My thing is, I guess I'm trying to get better through branching out so much and doing these things so much with different people that come on here, that I just grab that diamond. Like I was telling you, Dave, like, people drop diamonds every day, but it's up to you to fucking pick them up. Every time any of you speak, I'm gaining. So this is selfish for me.
And it's no longer called low bow spark, it's called low bow sparkle.
No,
because he got down.
No,
that could be my way of getting you back for the highlight. Actually, make a sparkly version.
No. No, when I come visit you,
I can do that editing.
I already told you, when I come to visit you this summer, you're gonna just kick the shit out of me. I'm fine with it. It's fine.
I'm like, here's the pack. Hold this for a second.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I gained so much out of, when people say, "Oh, this has helped me," or "This is whatever," that's not nearly as important as really cutting. When one of y'all says something that cuts me, that says, like, "Am I this or am I that?" But that's the ADHD side. That is the all or nothing side of me that I've got, that I'm trying so hard to work on. Is it this or is it that? But it can be a mixture of both. Like, it can be a growing process. That is something I'm trying to realize. But no, it helps me. It helps me to hear y'all talk, and I think I have helped y'all in some way, shape, or form, and I know that I have, and I'm confident in that.
Just so, like,
yeah. So
run out of fingers.
That right there that's the key. Is accepting that you're not where you want to be. You're not, what you thought at first, but you're working on it every day. We're all working on it every day. But we have support of each other, which I think is what helps us work on it more. That is my opinion. Leo, your week, your ideas on this whole thing, because Dave and Up just sent this, and Terry sent this into a total, awesome episode, which is so good to get the most views.
Right, we totally have a topic without having a topic.
We converge. Okay, that's
right.
No, and I think kind of actually harkens back to our Twitter space on Tuesday, and we covered a lot of it. Similar ideas in terms of trying to break past your own limitations and kind of creating your own path. And I actually do recommend listening to the recording of that if you see it. I'm really bad at, like, promoting it, but it's out there. but yeah, it's I think there is so much of it of like we have to figure out our own analogy that we use. I love the fact that Terry, you're using the blood analogy, and like, we've got the light, and then the oxygen mask and all of those different things, because we do kind of have to figure it out on our own in a way that like works for us and has meaning for our own lives, because it's easy to hear that, but until you realize kind of how you're showing up for other people, and you're realizing how you're not necessarily showing up for yourself, figuring that out on your own is a hugely important thing. And in the Twitter space on Tuesday, we talked about you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And kind of my feeling on that is like, I think that's actually why it's important to not necessarily lead the horse to water, but to give the horse a safe space to wander about until it finds water, because that water that you find on your own tends to taste much sweeter, instead of having someone just like, hey, there's water, drink. And now we're all horses. So this is a weird analogy, but
No, it's not.
Keep going.
Everyone does.
No,
that, though.
no.
How many people?
How
How many people on Twitter say drink? How many
not.
fucking
It's not.
everybody, and
Leo,
they all want you to drink their water specifically.
The reason
Because
the reason it's not a weird analogy is because you can lead a horse to another horse that knows where the water is, even if you don't.
And yeah, but I mean, I think like there is so much of just that exploration process, because it's not necessarily just about knowing where the water is. It's about understanding that you're thirsty. It's about understanding the need for water.
Thirsty, but worthy.
Right. And so I think that's just like, that's such a big part of it, and that's the part that most people discount. The journey is typically at least as important as the destination, and so it's really easy to get caught up in where you want to be. But the reality is that it is the journey that gets you all of the extra bits and pieces, and it helps you see the parts that actually matter in a context that you can understand. And so, I've started to become very okay with things moving slowly, because it's not about where it's going, it's about going. So instead of focusing on that destination, it's focusing more on the wandering, it's focusing more on the just the whole being, just and I think that's something that can be really hard to figure out, and I know it's something I definitely struggled with for quite a long time, because like you, about was always like, well, I'm not here yet, and why am I not here yet? I've got to be like in this position. This is like
Right.
Absolutely, like it's that either or, right? It's either this or that, and it's not. It's very much this collection of all sorts of different things, and things can be multiple things.
That's why I say don't compare yourself to a future you. I fucking hate it when people say, don't ever compare yourself to somebody else, only compare yourself to you. And I'm like, no, don't compare yourself to you either. Because whenever you look into the past, the version of you that you see is dependent on how you feel today. It's either a shitty past or a fantastic past, depending on whether you're shitty or fantastic now. And the version of you you're looking at in the future is dependent on what you are today, because it's dependent on what you think your skill set is, what your goals might change to be, and everything else. And it's the same thing. It's like, don't compare yourself to where you think you might be. Don't think about what you, just keep going on the journey. Just have a walk around. Let's just have a walk around, go, oh, fuck this. Because you might, think about so many polymaths throughout history that have gone in one direction, then suddenly gone, oh yeah, but I could just go and do this. I mean, the guy that what is it, the guy at the 1924 Olympics, the American who did the world championship long jump at the Olympics in 1924, came third for the event he was actually there for, because he only went there because he was injured to do something else. So he found a different path. He didn't go in his head and go, well, I have to do this, and then go into deep depression or, hate himself because he couldn't do it. He just went, well, okay, I've not tried for that one. Right, let's do the decathlon. Let's do this. Okay, I can do something else. And it's always a way of switching. If you compare yourself to yourself, and you think of what your goals are going to be, they'll always be out of reach because you will always make them out of reach when you want them to be out of reach.
That's exactly, I think, what I'm going through. And I appreciate that very much because, like, on one sense, I've done everything faster and better than anyone else ever has that I know. And on the other hand, I've done fucking nothing.
So I'm gonna drop a link in the chat there. An absolutely incredible podcast I listened to this week. But it's a woman who got started very early, like playing the violin, kind of went down this path of being like a superstar violinist, and then completely fucked up her hand playing the violin and like couldn't play anymore. And so she talks about kind of like dealing with that change and kind of letting go of the identity that like you were so attached to. And yeah, like I think that plays a huge role into it. And kind of going back to the whole idea of like, you know, looking back on your past or your future, it really depends on where you're at today. Yeah, the analogy that comes to mind there is like we're constantly like, we live in a fun house, and whatever mirror you happen to be looking at is what you see yourself as at that point in time. But like if you turn around, it's completely different because it's a different mirror, it's a different effect. And so we never really know who we truly are. Like we only ever see this reflection that's kind of this collection of moods and, you know, circumstances. And so understanding that objects in the mirror are not quite as they appear is a really important thing to keep in mind because it's a fun house.
I agree with that. Terry,
Y'all
did
are
you
blowing
want to
my fucking mind today. Like I
do
let me
this
tell
a
you,
bit-
first and foremost, I fucking live for metaphors and analogies. I just do. I just think they're fucking spot on, man.
100%.
I love them.
I explained this to Dave when I saw. I was like, "This is the most important thing in my life," and it used to be. It isn't now. The thing is, I am
It's still really up there.
I am so fucking good at the most important thing in my life. That's the issue. It's just not what I like the most right now in this moment, which is so hard for me to tackle. No pun intended. It is like what I am the best at is that fucking job I have. What I love more than anything right now in this moment is this. But I'm not nearly as good at this as I am.
You haven't spent nearly as long on it though.
Can I reframe that? You are the best at your job. It is not what you're best at.
Yeah.
You've molded your job around your skills.
When you say that you are what you're best at is your job,
right.
Then you immediately put a barrier up to your ability to develop into something else. If you say that you are the best,
and I've done that for 18 years. I have said this is my number one.
I had with Mechi. Mechi was doing exactly the same before she traveled, because the second you frame it that way rather than the way I said, you put the barrier up. If you frame it the other way, then you're merely the best one that's there. If you put it the way that you're putting it, you're saying my limitation, I am the best, I am the biggest fish in this small pond. Whereas actually you can be a shark in a fucking ocean, but you're not allowing yourself to develop into it.
What's funny about
you can actually be both at the same time, which goes back to the whole like you can exist in multiple realities.
Yeah, absolutely, Leo.
You can continue to be amazing. You can continue to be amazing at the job that you're in while still looking to see what waters are somewhere else.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm so glad that I did not make that impulsive decision to just abandon that, because that would have been a huge. I mean, I if I were to wake up and not work for this team or whatever, then all of a sudden I'm like, where did my whole fucking life go? Like, I worked my whole fucking life to do this, my whole life. It's just that now, yes, I love this more because it is. I feel like I'm making more of a difference. But in the first 5 years there, I made the same difference. So I just have to keep following the same strategy that I always use that works for me, and not
you get
question
from
it.
Doing that job. That is you turning your light on. That is you serving you first, because that gives you shit.
Oh, I've always served
Oh
myself.
shit! I won that on a mug somewhere. That gives you
All the
self
self shit.
That's
And I love
Shit, I gotta do. I'll put that on the Shopify. But,
that gives you self shit. That's I
all
love
of
that.
the self shit. Self-love,
well,
self-worth,
yeah, but
fucking thing.
We all put barriers.
But you're
up.
exactly right, though, Terry, on that. You're exactly right on that. The thing is, I feel like I did it the right way because, I mean, you and Leo have seen, and Dave may have seen one of these, but like I created my own highlight videos for a decade before I ever created one for anyone else. And I think that helps me now. It's just that now it's one more. You know, it's like I want the next. Speaking of which, Leo, I need to trust the video. Oh, you sent it to me.
I know. I need to do. I just saw your text right before I got on here.
I did it about an hour after. The only reason I didn't do any footage was
that was so funny.
You literally said it. I was like, okay, cool. I just sent it, and you're like, oh.
I sent a DM to Up with the list of the last 4 people in this year. Within 45 minutes, I get all 4 videos, at least 2 minutes apiece. I'm like, okay, well, that's all.
Catching it at the right time. It's magical.
It's autism.
But I mean, it's interesting you saying about all that, and you know, loving it and highlights, because this is where Dave knows me on this better than the rest of you. But it is that thing of as you've all said to a point of knowing like what is best for your light and everything like that. Because I dislike the idea of having a highlight. I hate all that. I hate it.
I know.
You know, something I said with Kirk the other day actually on the podcast was one of my biggest bugbears, and I think all of you have done this at some point, is when when somebody says, "What haven't you done?" Or
oh, you said that a million times.
Every single episode.
Yeah, you say that every single time.
It's just I hate that, because I am of that, you know, very small percentage that will continue to get better by pointing out to myself how shit I am. And I know that that's not, and it really annoys so many people, especially therapists when I've seen them, because because their book says that should not work. Their book says no. But and I'm like, but
their books also tell them not to use black and white thinking, and that's black and white thinking, saying that person doesn't exist.
Well, that depends. Are they being Jungian? Because in that, then they're allowed to use it a little bit anyway. But
what don't you know?
Look, I'm doing a master's in mental health, and I'm doing shut up.
I'm doing a master's in mental health too. It's called my life.
Well, hell fucking yo.
Like, if I go to the idea of me thinking I'm great, I would end up probably back at me when I was like 20 something. I would be a horrible human being. Beating myself, that is how I continue, and that is the best for me. If I ever had spent a day when I'm not doing that, and I know it doesn't make sense to many people, because everything you know about yourself, everything you've read, everything you've heard, everything your therapist says it's wrong and it shouldn't work, because everyone, and we see it on Twitter when it says like, oh, you can't get anywhere without, you know, from doing this, you can't just do, and every time I'm like, yeah, you fucking can. Stop. Because if you say that to everything, you don't allow people to develop into their own. And we've all just said the whole point is we find what's best for us.
Exactly.
Like when I played county snooker, county darts, I was a high level. But every time they went to the board or the oche, every time they went to the table, I would tell myself over and over again in my head, they're going to win now. You're done. That's it. It's over.
Okay.
But about myself as well. But everything. I can't. It almost pains me the other way. Like if somebody at work, because the amount of times when I've had people go, "Oh yeah, but you're doing it," and I'm like, "Don't fucking tell me that."
Okay, Up. In that case, you're doing an absolute shit job. Can you do better, please? Fuck's sake. Oh my God! Stop letting the whole team.
The numbers do
I like that. Do something, Up. Do something. God damn.
It's gonna finally turn me into like into that kind of toxic positivity pep talk. No, not toxic positivity. The opposite. The tough love. He's gonna finally find the tough love switch in my head.
Terry, you wanted to say something.
It's just everything's a spectrum. So just like positivity and I don't want to call it negativity, but the practicality, realism there's a spectrum for each person of what works. Like, for example, I like if I have confidence in something because I have done it before, I have proven to myself, I know what it is that I'm doing. So when people gas me up, then okay, that's great because I feel that. But if I'm going after something that I haven't done, I haven't studied, I haven't observed someone else doing, if I'm just like going after something that's just like brand new to me in every aspect, like, and then I have people saying like, oh, well, you're awesome. Oh, well, you're great. You're going to do great. And like, but they don't give specifics of like, oh, well, you'll be great at this. That seems so different because you're good at talking with people. And this is like, if they don't have a way to connect something that I do have confidence in. So like, I've actually done better in any type of thing, anything work related, school related, sports related, life related, whatever, when I've been doubted than when people have full confidence in me, because then I do have to rely on myself. Then I do have to be the one saying, no, I could do this because, no, I could do that because, let me find my resources. Let me find the information. Let me practice and hone my skills. Because when like, so I don't like getting down on myself. I don't like to think of like things of me being like a shitty person or whatever, but I do get that point of like, don't gas me up when, and I'm sorry, I'm using the term gas me up like 30 times in the last 30 seconds.
Doesn't matter.
Apparently I like that term. But like, I get that. So it can't all be like fucking rainbows and sunshine and, oh, you just have to have confidence. You just, so which is great for a lot of people. It does work. For me and for a lot of other people, it is that like, because you need to know that there has to be hard work going into it. So like when people say, oh no, this is easy, you could totally do that. And then you get to it and it's like, oh my fucking God, this is so hard. What's going on? And you're like, and then you start thinking, no, everybody else said it was so easy, but it's so hard for me. What's wrong with me? And then it's internal that you are on yourself. But if you know, wow, I'm a beginner at this. I don't have any experience. I got none of the education, but I want to do that. So let me know how fucking hard it is right now. Let me know. Right. Like doubt me because of this, that, and the other reason, because guess what? That's my fucking drive.
So Terri, can I ask you, sorry, autism you'll remember it, ADHD won't. I have to say it. Right?
That's true. So, you got you there.
So I will say, do you find, Terri, that if you are challenged in something that you are confident or whatnot, that you do better? I'm sure you do. You just said that you did. However,
yes,
right. But do you?
There are circumstances. But there are definitely conditions on that. Right. Because like Leo said before about, you don't need to lead the horse to the water. You just need to give the horse a safe space to wander while he finds the water.
Right. So now let me ask you this. So that
safe space is very fucking important, because if I'm getting that doubt when I'm not in a safe space, guess what? My hard work, my drive is going on hating myself, hating the world, hating everyone.
But do you create controversy when there is no controversy needed, just so that it will stimulate you to prove?
Yes. That I also do think I create peace when there's zero peace, when it's all controversy.
So it's the opposite.
No, I do both.
Right.
I'm a contradiction, bitch. What do you want from me?
I think
exactly. That's awesome. That's exactly right.
Terri, you're where people think I am. I think people assume that I do things to prove people wrong, and I couldn't give a fuck. I don't like people. I neither like people having a go at me, but I do hate them saying good things about me. Like I have nothing to fight against. I'm not fighting against, like, because I know it's
Dave.
When there's a lot, I know for a lot of people, the idea of proving someone wrong is in there. It isn't for me. Like, I don't care. If somebody did that, I'd be like, yeah, but I know, like, it's not difficult. Fuck off. Like, I don't have that drive to prove someone wrong. There is none of that for me. I don't have it at all, because there's nothing to prove wrong. I'm just like, yeah, just. I would rather be in the place where I'm continually attacking myself. The only difference is that, okay, every now and again, my ability to work through that will fall, but it's a lot. That's a lot less than if I continually got told how I was, how amazing I was. I fucking hate that shit with passion.
I know you do, and I'm so sorry for the highlight reel. My thing is on that is my thing on that is for every person that hates the highlight reel, there are 3 others that change their life. Now, the people that are just watching it randomly are saying, okay, maybe this person doesn't like it, but holy shit. Like now
you're getting an advertisement to your fucking 37 podcast, so there you go.
I mean,
to go back to the Funhouse, the highlight reel gives you the mirror.
Let's go to a Funhouse.
It makes you look it shows you your best self. And so it's a mirror that you can always go back to when you need it.
But it's a best self in my eyes, not in their own. That is what I want.
But it's one that is designed to make them look good. And sometimes
it's designed.
There is one bit of editing I did quite like. There is one bit of editing I was like, it was Mechie onto me. I was literally watching it going, yeah, all right, fuck it. That was the one bit I was like,
it's been like fucking 3 weeks without her.
It's
she's coming back.
That's my fault. In fairness.
Yeah, it is. Dave, I want to know your opinion. This has actually been tremendous. Your opinion on, like, I think we're all desperately trying to say, like, we have a heart for others, but we want to help ourselves first. But we don't want to present the fact that we're helping ourselves first because we think the world is going to think that we're conceited. Like,
nah, I don't care about that. Like,
I know you don't care about it. What I'm asking you is, why does that work like that?
Because people confuse self first with selfish.
Well, yeah, TikTok on that. I like that one.
I actively tell people that selfish is the least selfish thing.
And actually, I think I love the way Terry said it before, because I'm going to be like,
100%.
You do selfish, cross it out, self first, cross it out, self shit. Do that self shit.
That's the mug.
Get on that self shit.
Mug. Get on Vistaprint. Get on Shopify.
Let's get on that. Let's do it. Let's get on that self shit. But yeah, why do people think that? The thing is, because even though, like, you might say ADHD and autism and stuff, we go a little bit more literal and we don't read between the lines. We all read between the lines. We listen to what's not said as well, like, especially when you're a kid, which is like, it's a miracle that any of us are able to have podcasts when we were brought up being told don't talk to strangers. It's like, because now we kind of have to. It's like don't talk to strangers, and then you get to adulthood and like, shit, all these people in the new job are strangers, and I've got social anxiety around talking to them. Curiosity killed the cat, so people get stuck in their old ways and don't try new things. Like, and the one about, like, you've got to, like, when people say you've got to put each other's first, or like, like looking after others, like, first, it's like, it's basically, instead of hearing, okay, even if you put someone else first and put yourself second, that'd still be a giant improvement on where you are. But like when people say why people put themselves down so much, because people say don't boast, don't brag, be humble, right? And instead of hearing don't boast, maybe I won't show off too much, people hear self-deprecate, and it goes back into that black and white thinking thing. Well, if I'm not going to brag, then I've got to beat myself up. And like, beating yourself up and bigging yourself up are 2 different languages. So by the time you're like 20, 30, 40, you've had all those years of practice of beating yourself up. So then when someone on the internet comes along and says, you've got to love yourself, or you've got to put yourself first, or anything like that, it's a nice concept, right? But but it's a different language than what you've been speaking to yourself for a long ass time. And just like, kind of like when you try any new skill, and like we've all just talked about, like, various different ideas on whether you're going to be shit at something at first. Weirdly, when you were talking about that, one of the beliefs that I think helps me try new things is the fact that I pick things up really quickly. So I like to be reminded of that sometimes. I don't like being reminded of the fact that I pick them up, I obsess over them, and then I drop them. But also, actually, sorry, side note on that. I've had all these tangents in my head for the last 20 minutes, and because you're recording, I've tried not to interrupt as much today. Unlike last week when you weren't recording and I didn't let anyone get a word in. But But the other thing as well, and I think every single person with either ADHD or autism that's ever gone through the whole hyperfixation, special interest, but then drop it for process. I know a lot of autistic folks tend to have the hyperfixation, it carries on, whereas ADHD, we tend to like new hobby, invest. You don't stop being able to do that thing. You know, like I picked up the piano because I'm that strong. I picked up the piano when I was 6 and I can still play it, even though I don't practice it all the time. I picked up the guitar when I was 16. I can still play it. You know, it's like I never got to the level of being world class. But when it came time to like when I was making my early videos and stuff, and I thought, oh, I don't like any of the stock music that's out there, I could make my own music for them. It's like all the various jacks of all trades, master of none, but is often better than a master of one. You know, all of that.
Last quote as well in a minute. So
all of that is that doesn't just
Yeah.
because you stop doing the hobby, you could still go back to it at any point. And like also, and you end up being one of those people that's sort of a little bit like up, where people go, is there anything you don't do? You know, you can kind of have that, and you still end up being kind of like better than a lot of people that like didn't have that fixation whatsoever. So and then the one final tangent, and this is going to all this ties up, I promise. Maybe it doesn't.
I love it. Keep going.
Was
You don't
one
need
of
to
the
stop.
things that I want to add something to what Up said earlier about the whole comparing thing. So I used to do. I went through the phase of don't compare yourself to anybody else, just compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That is a fantastic belief when you're on the way up. If you're on the way up, it is a fantastic belief, because if you go, oh, I'm doing better than I was yesterday, it bigs you up, it motivates you, it gets you going for the day. When you're in a depression, no, you compare yourself to where you were yesterday. It's like, I can't even get out of bed today. And yesterday I was in work, I was doing my job, my value's gone down. And so basically, I always said is like it's giving what's called your adaptive best. So it's like that the best that you can do that day, rather than trying to be the best you've ever been on any given day. But my most recent thought on this, because and I struggled against this because I don't like being a hypocrite, or I don't like cherry picking. But actually, if it works, it works. If you find, like with the whole being challenged on things, or like being questions on stuff works for Terry, being challenged on things, for being challenged, I think your name should be actually. Like those things work. If it works, it works. So if you can get to the point where you go, okay, I compared myself to who I was yesterday and I felt good about it and it helped. Then I got to a point where I compared myself to who I was yesterday and I'm on the way down and it felt bad. So I decided to not compare myself to yesterday. What about if comparison was a tool that you brought out when you're on the way up and you put it away when you're on the way down? That sounds like a certain level of emotional maturity right there. So cherry pick when the hell you do that. Cherry pick what, like, comparison is the thief of all joy. You know, weirdly, I've found that people who are in a negative headspace, if they compare themselves to people who are above them, they'll go, oh, I can't do anything. And if they compare themselves to people who are below them, they'll go, oh my God, that person's got less than me and I'm still miserable. And they completely and utterly invalidate, that's the word I'm looking for. They completely invalidate their own experience. Whereas people who are in a good headspace look above and get inspired about the possibility of where you could go, and look below and go, you know what? I'm so grateful for what I've got because I could be in that situation. So the exact same comparison, depending on the headspace you're already in to start with, I think comparing just basically magnifies the headspace that you're actually in. So if you're in a good headspace, compare away. If you're in a bad headspace, put the comparison to one side until you feel you can handle it.
Yeah, see, the comparison.
Can I please,
please?
Everyone has thoughts.
Please chime in on that. First of all, it was brilliant. Secondly, what is the one constant thing that will help you when you are in your lowest headspace and when you're in your highest headspace?
Masturbation. You can edit that out if you like, or you can just leave it in. I don't know.
I'm going to leave it in.
No, but that's actually true. That's actually true. Highest and lowest headspace. I mean,
so
goes back to that self shit.
I implied towards it earlier when I was saying, self-care.
So what matters the most when you are low and high? Not the one that understands you.
Tenth of weed.
What matters? Terry, please.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to actually answer your question, but I have
No, it's
something
fine.
about being low.
I'll edit it. It's fine. I'll move it right back in. I have 6 minutes, so please.
Okay. Leo, you're the one who has to time me because I literally don't know time, and you like watches, I think, maybe. I don't know.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to analogize depression stuff and being there for people when you got it. Okay, here. Focus.
Sorry, I've just taken 7 seconds away from you. Go.
So, like, okay, when you're in a hole, depressed or low for whatever, maybe you're not depressed, maybe it's just you're low, you're having breakdown because of external and internal, it's all just hitting. And like people keep wanting to like pick you up out of the hole. People keep wanting to pick you up. And you keep wanting, like trying to climb, and like you just don't, like your muscles aren't working, or like your brain's not working, so you can't figure out like where to put your hands and your feet to get out of it. And you could feel the people that are trying to get you out annoyed because they're like, I have this fucking rope here. Why are you not fucking grabbing this rope after a certain amount of time? And like they're like almost trying to coddle you. And it's like, I need coddling on like this one tiny little piece of my emotions, but I don't need coddling on anything else. I need, whatever. But it's like, okay, if I'm in the hole, what I need is not somebody constantly throwing the rope down. I need to just know that you're up there. You're up there. I'm down here. I might need to fucking sit in my shit for a while. I might need to go in hermit mode. I might need to kick shit around. I might need to build my strength and keep trying to climb that every once in a while so that my muscles do grow. But from you, your support as my friends, my family, my loved ones, all of that, like, I don't want you to stop what you're doing and focus on getting me out of the hole. I don't want you to spend all your time waiting at the top of the hole for me to finally come out. But I need to know that, like, when I yell up from the hole, from the ditch, that I'm like, hey, Lobao, are you there? And you're like, oh, I'm chopping wood, but yeah, I'll talk to you in 10 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, I know 10 minutes. I'm going to talk to him. You know what I mean? Like just that availability, that safe support where it's not here. Let me tell you how to make yourself better. Here, just do this. And because we all want to do the stuff on our own. We do. Yeah. We want to do it on our own. But when you're low and shit, you can't figure it out. But then you also like, it's like you want the guidebook, but you don't want anyone to tell you it.
I hate guidebooks.
It's like you kind of want the context clues. You don't want the math. And all you want is just somebody who is willing, like you want your support system to love you no matter how long it takes you. To love you no matter how fucking shitty you are, because my God, I know. Like Leo and Lobao have seen the most of it from me. Like
But I think
love you guys.
Maybe we love you too, Terry. But I think the greatest thing in the world is when someone is in that hole, you can still do your own shit, but you jump in the hole with them while you're doing your own shit on your laptop or whatever. You're just sitting with them. You're not advising them. You're not telling them what to do. You're not, saying this will get you out of the hole, but I'm in the hole with you.
Basically, the whole point of my charity as well.
Right.
Figure it the fuck out. Here's a load of stuff to do it with.
Yeah, right.
You fucking do it. The comparison that I was going to say, just because it's going to irritate, curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought it back. So there is a completion to that quote as well.
I like that.
It only works like 9 times.
Leo,
you all ever owned a cat? They got 9,000 lives.
The only reason I did the comparison video about not comparing yourself to your future you and your past you. Literally, the only reason I did it is because I was in Dave's chat the day before, and it made me go, no, I don't agree with that. So I made a video. But the whole comparison thing, I agree to a point. But the problem I have is that if you use it as you want and all that kind of stuff, the shitty version of you, the one that hates itself, will
Know
go,
how to.
well, why the fuck can't I do that then? And it gives you another reason to hate yourself. That's why I have issue, because the comparison is a tool. Every tool you use to make yourself feel better.
So
is
why
a
not
weapon
jump in it
against
with
you
them?
when you don't?
So just jump in it with them. You can do your own shit at the same time as you're just in the hole. Like,
no. With other people,
thank you, Leo.
I'm with Terry and I'm with you. Yourself, as I say, every tool you use to make yourself feel better is a weapon against you when you feel shit, and that's the problem I have. I need the
Listen,
help.
you can't use a wrench for everything. You can't use a hammer for everything. There are different tools in the toolbox for a fucking reason.
But they'll both hurt you if you smack yourself over the head with it on the way down.
Oh God, here we go. No sunglasses for me this time.
I don't have mine either, so I got my brother.
What is your profession?